G'day guys, welcome back to another video in this Young Talent series on our quest to determine which club in the league has the best young talent. Today we have the Giants, Dylan. I'm actually looking forward to this one. They're a team that is both sort of competitive in the here and now, but also clearly in transition with a lot of aging stars. What do you think of GWS's list before we get into this?
They're definitely having a down season, aren't they? But it's probably what's happening at their list at the other end. They've actually been able to get games into a lot of these younger players in the last couple of years, kind of while they're rejuvenating and getting those older guys out of the team. They're probably a side that's gone to the draft the most out of any side and drafted off their own board. They've gone, we want this player in this sort of position. We see this is the way that the modern game is going, and we want to bring in players that have attributes that suit that.
Yeah, they're a club I kind of trust at the draft table as well. They're intriguing to watch, and then when they pick a player, I tend to think, well, they must be good. They must know something that other people don't.
Cadman.
Yeah, well, that's true. That was a little bit of a curveball for a pick one. Phoenix Goddard, a famous bolter as well in that draft as well. But I reckon we get straight into it, Dylan. I reckon the GWS Giants will do fairly well today, relatively speaking. So for those who haven't seen it, we get +4 for the top category of young talent, +3 for high-level A graders. We don't want to get stuck too much into literally what the title says. It's more about the points and how they're ranked. Then you have integral core players getting +2, talented but players who have shown a bit at AFL level or have some talent, but we're not sure where they fit. And then players who have virtually no profile, we're probably not going to give a point for the purposes of this exercise. Dylan, do you want to kick us off with young Aaron Cadman, the man we just spoke about?
Cadman, the number one pick. A bit of a bolter in the sense that I think a lot of recruiters and people in the industry at the time would have seen players like George Wardlaw, Harry Sheasel. It was that crop of players who were up the top end. They went with their man, Aaron Cadman from the GWV Rebels. He's probably tracking as well as any young key position forward possibly could be at this point in their career, right? Like he's had patchy form, but he started to play some really big games, and then those big games will turn into consistency. I'm flirting with the top two categories here. He either goes in one of those. What are you feeling?
I'm leaning to top category.
So am I.
Yeah, I think that you can see the prolific impact he's had, even though he's had like a interrupted run up to this year. He comes into the side and he kicked 4 goals, get concussed, and then come back and he's made an impact. I think he is developing really nicely, and I think he's probably in the top category of talent.
I think I agree.
Yeah.
No, I know I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. As far as from a key position forward, they're hard to find, and he looks as good as anyone that's come through recently.
Yep, absolutely. We then moved to Cody Angove, another bolter in 24 draft?
24
yep,
in the
draft.
20s.
Absolutely. For Hawthorn, GWS rather. That was a third club that came to mind. They're good. They love their bolters. They had a number of picks in the top 25 this year, and he's a West Australian wingman. What do you think of Cody Angove?
I think he's got a lot of talent. I think his skills on the ball are really, really good. I think he's got elite speed, elite agility, and that's why they drafted him. Having said all of that, I don't think he fits into the top 2 categories.
No.
I think they've specifically drafted what they consider a high-end player in a specific role to play wing. So I would go integral core player. I think he's as good of a role-playing wingman as you can get.
I agree with that. We move on to Darcy Jones, who's obviously out with an ACL at the moment, but I think has demonstrated quite a lot at AFL level. Now, part of that is fitting into a system that allows him to play to his strengths, but when he has the ball in space, he is one of the harder players to stop in transition, I think.
I think in 2025, he was almost their best player for a lot of the season, up until the injury. So I would be looking here high-level A grader.
I think so too. I don't think there's enough to his game to be put in that top category yet. But who knows in time. I think he's battled injury in the past and certainly has an ACL injury at the moment, but clear +3, I think. We then move to a guy who probably gets in the top category in Finn Callaghan. Would you
I think
agree
we just
with
put
that?
him straight there, don't we?
Yeah, we don't know too much discourse there.
He might be there already.
Yeah, he flirts with it, absolutely. And for his age, he'll get there for sure. The next player we have there, Dylan.
That is Finn Davis.
Thank you. I was blanking. I haven't seen a lot of young Finnegan Davis, the medium-sized defender. What are your thoughts on him?
Western Jets boy, athletics background, definitely a project player. And I want to give him, based on the football that I've seen him play, I want to give him a talented but. Okay. I don't think he deserves no points, and it's probably too early to throw him into that category yet. So talented but.
Okay, I'm happy to defer to you on that one. We now have Harrison Oliver, who was a ballpark top 20 pick again in that 24 draft, slightly ahead of Angove, but after Hannaford Smaller sized defender with decent rebound ability, about 181 centimetres, I want to say he was. So drafted relatively high for that type of player. What do you think of Harrison Oliver?
Yeah, it's the good foot skills compounded with an aggressive nature with the way that he plays and a competitiveness with the way that he plays for sure. I don't think you could put him in either of the top two categories. So we're looking, for me, I think the floor is still integral core player and a +2 category. A pick in the early 20s in that really, really strong draft. I think he's destined to at least be a role player in this team. Playing his straight at VFL, he'll get there.
I agree.
2.
I think +2 is his ceiling and his floor.
Yeah,
at the moment here. So I think that's a really good. I think for that role, it's hard to put him up.
And he never did the midfield thing.
That's right. Yeah.
So we're sort of judging him on that and expecting him to play that halfback role.
Yeah, I think that is Harry Ralston. Next, a bit of a bolter in the 22 draft, 23.
Yes,
yeah,
22.
I think it was
22.
Yeah, I reckon it was around about the pick 17 or 18 mark, where Sydney double bid on I think Marcolani and then Ralston all the other way around. In any case, a strong-bodied inside midfielder who we've seen a decent amount of at AFL level, a likely type. Where would you categorise him?
He seems like he's already built that platform to be just a general AFL player, I suppose. He's shown pretty good utility playing different positions. The Giants like to do that for that development. It feels kind of wrong on the way that we call these different tiers to put him in talented, but I feel like he's a level down from Angove. And who's the other player we've got there? I just can't see him properly.
Harrison Oliver.
That's Harrison Oliver.
Yeah.
He seems like a level down from those guys. So I'm thinking talented but he's kind of fits more into that integral core. He's starting to get a lot of games now, though.
I was leaning to a +2. I suppose you could see that if you compare to other midfielders from that draft class and that top 20 of that year, how would you say he's progressing? Where you got George Wardlaw. There's a bit of everything. There's Elijah Sardis, Cam McKenzie, Josh Wood was the year before, wasn't he? Elijah Hewitt. He's probably ahead of a lot of those guys. But in terms of...
And he's managed to get into a team that's probably been more successful and more difficult to get into as well.
Yeah. I'm leaning +2.
I think +2 as well.
I think +2 for Harry Ralston.
Yep.
They'll be selling him short to go +1 for the time being. We move to Harvey Thomas, a good small forward.
It's a tough one.
He is a hard one to categorise. He has played some really good games at AFL level. My first instinct, I don't think you can put him higher level A grader. So if you're going to go anywhere else, I think it'd be +2 or +1. He's
probably done some higher level A grader things.
Yeah.
But I still don't think he's going to be that consistently.
No.
As like a player like Darcy Jones could be.
Yeah.
So you're thinking +2?
Oh yeah, I think he's another +2.
I think he's a +2 too.
Yeah.
+2 too.
+2 too. Oh, so he's a 4.
Yeah, Jesse.
We now have Jack Ow. It's very important to get that pronunciation right here, Dylan. I want to say 194 centimetre bigger sort of midfielder.
Yep.
Drafted 24?
2024,
quite late.
Went in the 30s, but it was
the 30s?
It was the back end of his year. He was another GWV Rebel. So he was in that team with Hannaford and who else was in that GWV? Sammy Lawler was in that team.
Oh, yeah.
Finn O'Sullivan could have been in that team as well, to be fair. But I'm getting off track here. He started the beginning of the season as a wingman, sort of a tall outside aerial wingman. He went inside at the end and he was averaging +30 touches in nearly every game and he built them up to that grand final. I think there's a lot there. They're developing him in the VFL as they do and he'll probably come in and play a bit of a second fiddle to someone like a Clayton Oliver. He's that bigger bodied guy. He's very technical with his hands. Doesn't have elite speed, but a talented butt.
Yeah,
is where I want to put him.
I think you were going +2 then. I would have said +1. So I agree with that assessment. We have James Leake from the 2023 draft. So he and Phoenix Goddard went about 5 picks apart. A little bit of a slider on the night as that sort of slightly bigger than medium, I suppose, running defender. What do you think of James Leake?
I'm not a massive fan. And that's mainly on the back of watching him play a multitude of positions. And I don't feel like he's found anything yet. And I feel like they've forced the issue with him a little bit when they've needed him to add probably midfield depth the most. And it kind of hasn't worked out to this point. So it feels harsh to put him as an unsure, but that's where I'm leaning at the moment based on my own opinions of him.
I'd probably go +1.
You want to go +1?
Yeah, I think to some extent, consider the body of work as a junior. I suppose he's in his third year now. 23 draft. Yep. Yeah, so that'd be his third year. Yeah,
it's not a write-off.
No, I watched him play last night against the Gold Coast Suns, and I don't know what stats he had, but I when he got the ball, he did some nice things in terms of his movement. You can tell there's talent there, but he just hasn't put it together. He's had to work his way into the side. I think he's worth a point, personally, James Leake.
I'll meet you there.
Is that the Fontempelli?
That is Fonto.
Yes, a player that I tried to claim for the Perth Demons production factory, but apparently he's from Claremont. I can't believe I messed that up.
Either feels Claremont, actually.
Yeah, probably. But a relatively late draft pick. Was this 24 as well, Dylan?
No.
23?
No, this was 23.
23, yeah.
Took a little bit longer to get going.
As a rebounding defender and is now an established player in the Giants lineup. What do you think of Fontempelli?
I think he's got... It's a tough one because I've never seen him, play as a predominant midfielder, but he just seems to have all the attributes that he's going to be able to put that together. His ground level game is really good. His contested game is really good. And probably most importantly, to play a modern midfield role, his outside stuff is really good as well. His foot skills are great. So there's a bit to happen there for that to all come together. But I want to say high level A grader just from what I've seen. I think he's an incredibly balanced player. And someone that they got as an absolute steal in that draft.
Yeah, he certainly has accelerated past a few of the guys drafted earlier than him. He was drafted relatively late, I think.
Yeah, I haven't got the number in front of me.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe I'm just remembering what he was pre-draft. GWS tend to draft their own order, so I'm not sure where exactly he ended up. We have, is this Josiah?
Delena.
Delena? Yeah, Josiah Delena. Yeah.
I'll go with Joss.
I don't know too much about young Joss here. Do you have an opinion?
I watched him a lot. He was the 2024 draft as well, a part of their academy team. Crafty little small forward that got up the ground, but more of a high forward type. So he's one that the Giants tend to draft that type of player a lot. Really good movement, good agility, good speed. Can I give him a talented but? He was later in the draft. I think I will. I think I'm going to give him a +1 beside Delana.
So at the moment, GWS scoring very well. We have 0 unshores. We might have a couple here, or some coming up anyway. This is Lachlan Smith, a developing ruckman on the Giants list. Do you have much of a view on him?
2024 draft. For a lot of the season, in fact, he was kind of considered the top ruck in that crop. People spoke about him that way. Probably didn't have any real attributes to kind of as a modern day ruck. So I'm going to put him in unsure at the moment.
Fair enough. We then move to Krzyzewski. I believe that is next. Now, funnily enough, I've seen a little bit of chatter that I'm not sure if it was his dad posted that he wants his son to play for North Melbourne.
Really?
Yeah.
I've missed that.
Yeah, I saw something that during the week. Anyway, I won't labour on that. Out of contract at the end of the year, so will be a play to watch. But what do we think of Max Krzyzewski? I think he took, again, GWS sort of let their players develop a little bit before they start getting opportunities. I feel like he was one of those as well. But now considered a valuable trade commodity. What do you think?
Yeah, I think he's a really good example of key position forwards who is just really competitive.
Yeah, he's a little bit undersized too.
A little bit undersized. Yeah. He's but he plays bigger.
Yeah,
he plays with a spirit, and I think that's really important. I'm not going to put him in high level A grader, but I think he's again tracking just as well as you possibly could be at this point. And I think when you've got Cadman there, who's going to be that elite A grade key position forward, he'll be a great second foil and just someone that just competes all the time.
Yeah. There you go. I'm happy with that as we slide him into the +2s. We now move to Nathan Wardius, who was a Cat B signing, went completely undrafted a couple of years ago, I reckon. And I don't think he's played a game, Dylan.
I'm just laughing at your pronunciation of
Isn't that how you say it?
Wardius. What was it?
Wardius. Is it
Wardius?
Wardius?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know enough about him.
Yeah.
Unsure
One of us doesn't know how to say his name, and I don't know who it is. I'm going to say untried player at this stage. We have to go 0 points. What about Nick Madden?
Love Nick Madden.
Yeah, I was going to say, because you did a video at the start of the year. You did the video, but I was here. About GW or a number of rucks in the competition who might usurp.
I think it was usurp. Yes,
that's from The Office. They're the number one ruck at their clubs, and Madden is one of those examples that you correctly called. So tell me about him.
He's a very big body. He probably does. I reckon they drafted him for the old rules because he's very physical.
Yeah.
He's not as much of a jumper, but he's got a lot of height to him, so he still competes really well in those centre ball ups. Very good at around the ground stoppages, and he moves well, gets involved in chains. I can't put him in the top group, but I'm going to put him in integral core player. I think he at least gets there.
Wow.
And certainly a player. I think, you're looking at those developing ruckmen at other clubs, someone like a Taylor Goad. He's right there with him.
Wow.
+2.
I like it. Ollie Hannaford, I loved this kid in the 2024 draft. I was kind of keen on him for my club. In the end, he goes to GWS to add to their bevy of talented small forwards. They love players of this type, Dylan. And he is such a dynamic, game-changing small forward, particularly in the Coates Talent League. He won games for his club and kicked bags, I think. I think there was bags of 5 in there. He rolled up to stoppages.
There was definitely a 6.
There was a 6. And then there was also some really good form, I thought, at stoppages with his clearance game. He has been, again, plying his trade, I think, in the VFL. We've seen him a little bit at AFL level, but tell me what you think of Ollie Hannaford.
I love him. I absolutely love him. I think most football fans love a player like Ollie Hannaford because he works so hard.
Yeah.
He gets in the opposition's face, tackles, pressures. An
Nice
underrated
pace.
thing about him is his athleticism.
Yeah.
He was one of the quickest players in the draft combine. His agility's great. And that's the Giants do that. They always look for those more athletic players that can play the modern game. I think what we've seen him at AFL level, like there's probably question marks about him on the ball still. And just his intricate play, like his technical skills, those sorts of things, and being like a top level player. So I think we probably have to put him in integral core. I don't think I can put him up in the high level A grader.
Yeah, I
at
think
this point,
because from memory he didn't play champs.
No,
Was
he
that
did.
right? Oh, he did.
He was dropped.
He was dropped. I remember it being that his best form was in the Coates Talent League. So obviously, as the competition gets better, we haven't seen him dominate at those higher levels. I remember feeling that way, and it's similarly. He hasn't put it together in the same way Phoenix Goddard has at AFL level
That's
yet
right.
for the Giants. So
Totally.
I agree with that. I wasn't sure exactly what the place is capped, but you do feel like there's a lot of potential there.
But that's what we said off the top. The Giants will draft a guy like this relatively highly that is almost like an elite role player.
Yes. Yeah.
And they're happy to do that.
Yeah. Oscar Taylor, pick 15-ish, I can't remember exactly, in last year's draft, and a player that you just see from a mile out suits the Orange Tsunami with the way he runs in transition and breaks the lines. What do you think of Oscar Taylor?
Beautiful kick of the footy, great speed. As you said, that modern D50 transition football, he's the perfect player to play that game. Where do you put him in this though? Like there's
I'm not
probably
really
an
sure.
argument that you could put him as a high level A grader, but I feel integral core is probably where I'm leaning here again.
Yeah.
A lot of traits, but doesn't at the same time, didn't play champs, Oscar Taylor.
Okay, yeah.
Didn't play champs.
Yeah, right.
That's incredible. So definitely a late bolter and someone with a lot of talent, but I think I'm going to put him in integral core. We probably need to see him at AFL level.
Yeah. So I guess comparing like for like, Fonte over Oscar Taylor?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay. That's a good way to frame it.
definitely.
So put him into this category here. The Giants are scoring nicely. As we move to Phoenix Goddard, who we hadn't seen a lot of up until recently, Dylan, and this year I think he's put together some really good form. And last night against the Suns, kicked a really nice goal. And I think he's showing really promising signs as one of the biggest bolters in, maybe not draft history, but it was a massive bolter on the draft night.
Yeah, didn't even have a polo on.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he was there for his friend Connor O'Sullivan. And honestly, I think everything I've seen from Phoenix sort of validates the Giants for this very bold selection. What do you think?
Yeah, great player. Suits that game style where they get it inside 50 and then they've just got this fleet of players at the feet of the forwards. Can you go high level A grader?
I think so.
I've seen less of this guy.
Yeah.
I wasn't following the draft as heavily in that one. And then he's obviously been injured for a lot of the time or playing in the VFL.
I think he is.
You probably can.
I think he's a higher level talent than the guys we have in the plus twos.
He stands out, doesn't he?
So like for likes would be Thomas and Hannaford.
Yes.
And I think Phoenix certainly has shown more.
Clearly.
Well,
Clearly ahead
he's
of
younger
Thomas.
than Thomas, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think he's got more gifts.
In that
So
sense, I'm starting to want to put Hannaford up as well because I love him.
I love him too. But to separate them, Phoenix has done a bit more at AFL level to this point.
That's right.
I think he's looked better. He is also a year older, to be fair. We move to Riley Hamilton. I don't, again, have too much of a read on this guy, Dylan. Do you have much of an opinion?
2025 draftee, Giants Academy.
Yep.
Played some good stuff for the Allies, but I'm not going to give him a point.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue on that one because I don't have much of a read, so forgive us Giants fans. As we finish off with Toby McMullen, a small sort of pressure forward. I think he's been in the system for a little while now, played 20-odd games. What do you think of him, Dylan?
I think he's got some traits. Very athletic player. And games that I've seen him play without, he's never been able to put a whole bunch, like a full season together, let's say. But I think the football that we've seen him play certainly deserves to get at least a talented butt
Okay.
for me.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. without having too strong an opinion. All right, as we quickly do the math on this, they get 8 points for elite superstars, Cadman and Callaghan, the double Cs. Then a further 9 points from the A graders, which puts them at 17 points. Now, how many? We give them a further 8 points. My God, they're up to 25 points, and then up to 30 points. Wow, GWS actually have a really good bevy of young talent. Just before we end the video, anyone out there, anyone standing out to you there as not being right? If anything, I feel like Oscar Taylor's a little hard done by.
Oscar Taylor's a little hard done by, and I think there's an argument for Hannaford. They would be the two for me.
Yeah.
Certainly no one else that I'd be like has to be higher.
Yeah.
But they feel like a better. And remember, we're doing this based on talent. We're not doing it based on how you've played now, right?
Yeah.
So I would consider those two maybe.
So if anything, with more points. we're not bringing anyone down.
I don't think I'm bringing.
I'm good with Hannaford there. I think his best form to date, as far as I can tell, has been in the Coates Talent League. I think if he'd, played really well at the Champs or had, put together a few more performances at AFL level, we could bump him up one. But I think on body of work, I think that's right. I do think he has absolutely the potential to be a +3 minimum.
So,
yep, there we go, guys. So 30 points puts them ahead of a lot of teams. And they're actually in a good position in terms of their list transition, at least as far as we say. So let us know in the comments, guys, what you think. We'll see you in the next one.